When you first meet Jinu, he looks like every trope we've seen before. Smooth, sly, maybe even irredeemable. But what if I told you? Jinu is actually the purest soul in this entire story. A boy who tried to save the people he loved and let himself be rewritten by a monster. For 4 centuries, Jinu hasn't been evil. He's been told he is, until he believed it. 400 years ago, Jinu was just a boy with a bipa. His dream wasn't fame. It was food, a roof, safety for his mother and sister. When Gui Ma whispered promises of greatness, Jinu wasn't greedy. He was desperate, and for a moment, it looked like it worked. He played for kings. He ate like a noble. But what if it wasn't his choice to leave his family and he was just made to believe it through Gui Ma's manipulation and gaslighting? During the Joseon dynasty, court performers weren't free artists. They were nobi, state-owned entertainers, closer to servants than celebrities. Records show that kings literally owned their musicians and dancers. Performers could not leave without permission. Their art was not their own. Their lives belonged to the palace. So when Jinu stepped through those royal gates, he didn't escape poverty. He stepped into ownership. His talent became tether. His access became captivity. The palace wasn't freedom. It was a golden cage. When his pattern spread, he wasn't condemned for sin. It was the same reason Rumi's pattern seemed to strangle her voice. Shame born of indoctrination and manipulation. Jinu was condemned by circumstance. The system took a hungry boy and taught him that the only way to protect what he loved was to obey the hand that fed him, while Gui Ma gaslit him into believing he had chosen to abandon his family. And this was his just reward. That's not ambition, that's captivity with better lighting. From that moment on, Gui Ma never stopped whispering. For centuries, he fed Jinu one script. You abandoned them, you betrayed them, you killed them. And when you hear a lie long enough, it doesn't sound like a lie, it sounds like memory. But Jinu never had a choice. He was a boy sold to power, stripped of freedom, and shackled to Gui Ma's realm. What we're watching isn't a demon scheming for more. It's a prisoner repeating the words his captor beat into his soul until those words felt like his own. Then comes Rumi, the first person in 400 years to treat Jinu not as a pawn but as a person. When she bears her own shame, the patterns she was told to hide, Jinu sees himself. For a moment, the chains loosen. That's all demons do. Feel our shame, our misery. It's how Gui Ma controls us. That isn't villain talk. That's a diagnosis from someone who's lived inside the problem. He isn't tempting Rumi. He's trying to explain the weather of his world, why the storm never ends. Shame is climate, misery is currency, and empathy is the one tool Gui Ma can't fully control. Yes, Jinu betrays Rumi. He humiliates her on stage and feeds Gui Ma's power. But ask why. When Gui Ma corners him with "you left them, you killed them," Jinu folds, because he already believes it. You can't fight a captor who lives in your head. For centuries, Jinu carried a shame that was never his. The tragedy is simple and brutal. Accept a lie long enough, and it becomes the only truth you know. Notice Jinu's brokenness. He is torn to pieces. He breaks, as if the reality he believes is simply too much for him to deal with. That breaking is the real Jinu, buried but not dead. Gui Ma wins that moment, but not the last one. And yet, in the end, Jinu chooses differently. Not because Gui Ma's chains disappeared, but because Rumi gave him the one thing Gui Ma never offered: choice. Jinu steps between Rumi and death, not as a demon, not as a traitor, but as the boy who picked up a bipa to save his family. In that instant, he remembers who he is. He does the bravest thing a captive can do: choose someone else's freedom over his own survival. That's not a plot twist. That's character revealed. Jinu isn't the villain. He isn't the traitor. He is the proof that even 400 years of lies can't destroy a pure soul. As much as Rumi is seen as the hero, the real key was Jinu, a man who was never free until the moment he chose sacrifice over servitude. And that choice didn't just redeem him, it saved the world. If you've only seen a demon, look again. You might just be looking at the bravest heart in the story. There was always a plan to unite Jinu with Rumi in order to defeat Guima and save the world. It's actually on display in the story if you're looking for it. Want to see the proof? Subscribe for more deep lore and hidden K-pop demon hunter secrets.